Good morning, students. Myself Prema. Welcome, students. Today we are going to study the third chapter of geography, that is physiography and drainage. In the last lecture we have studied about the second chapter, that is location and extent of Brazil and India. Now in this chapter we are going to study about the physiography and drainage of India and Brazil. Now physiography means the different landforms that are found in the country. For example, mountains, plateaus, plains. That is there. And drainage means rivers and lakes that are found in the country. So in this chapter, we are going to study the different landforms and river systems that are found in India and Brazil. Now here, students, you can see the image of physical map of India and Brazil. Now in the map of India, students, you can see different shades of colors are used. Now these shades, what they show, they are showing the height or altitude of India also and of Brazil also. Now our country's heights in India, we can see the height is more than 8,000 meter. Along we can see the different types of peaks also. Say in the north, in the upper side, you can see in the grayish color the Karakoram range that is located. Along with that, in this map, here in the Rajasthan, we can see the Great Indian Desert also. Below that, Aravalli Mountains. Along with that, afterwards you can see the peninsular region. Peninsular region means that regions that are surrounded by water by three sides. On the other hand, that is the match here. The map of Brazil is given. Now in the Brazil, the height of the mountains does not exceed more than 1,000. So here, how much height is given? 1,000 meters. The height is shown. And along with that, we can see here, see North Atlantic Ocean also we can see, South Atlantic Oceans you can see, and more here the highest peak in Brazil also we can see in this map, that is Pico de Neblina. That peak is given, and various countries that are located that you can see. Now from the exam point of view, both the map are very much important, India and Brazil. So first we are going to study about India. Now the country is divided into 5 major physiographic divisions. So we are going to study about the 5 major physiographic division. In that, first is the Himalayas, second is the North Indian plains, third one is the peninsula, fourth one is the coastal plains, and last one is the island groups. So in this in this chapter in detail we are going to study about these 5 major physiographic divisions. In detail we are going to study. So first we are going to study about Himalayas. Now the Himalayas, it is one of the young fold mountains in the world. The Himalayas extend from Pamir North in Tajikistan to the east. Now here see, students, you can see the map. So here in the map above India we can see the Himalayas, and above the Himalayas on the western side we can see the Pamir. So from Pamir North, the Himalayas, they are extending in Tajikistan to the east. It is a major mountain system in the Asian continent. In India, it extends from Jammu and Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh. So if we are going to study about worldwide, so according to the worldwide, here Himalayas, they are extending from Pamir North to in Tajikistan to the east. And if we are in India, it is told that the Himalayas, they are extending from Jammu and Kashmir to Arunachal Pradesh. So we will study about the different ranges of Himalayas also here. The Himalayas is not a single mountain range. There are many parallel ranges in this system. Now the southernmost is known as Shivalik. It is also called as the youngest range. And next to Shivaliks are the lesser Himalayas, greater Himalayas, and trans-Himalayan ranges from south to north. Now these ranges are young to old respectively. Now students, here you can see the map, the Himalayan system. So here we can see the southernmost is known as the Shivalik. Now next, here the height of the Shivalik is how much it is given, 900 to 1500 meter. Next to that we can see that is the lesser Himalayas. That is from south to north when we are going. So we can find the lesser Himalayas. The height is 1500 to 3500 meter. And afterwards you can see the greater Himalayas. And the height is mentioned here is 4600 meter. Now the greater Himalayas, they are also called as Himadri. and afterwards you can see the Trans-Himalayan ranges, that is from south to north. Now these ranges, they are young to old respectively. Young to old respectively means some of the ranges they have just formed and some are old. These mountain ranges are also divided into Western Himalayas or Kashmir Himalayas, Central Himalayas or Kumaon Himalayas, and Eastern Himalayas or Assam Himalayas. So the mountain ranges that we have studied, so these mountain ranges are divided into three sections, that is Western Himalayas, Central Himalayas and Eastern Himalayas. Next we are going to study about the physiography of, that is of North Indian plains. Now this division lies between mountains in the north and the peninsular in the south. So these North Indian plains, now see here in the map students, you can see the regions that are shown with the green color. So that is the North Indian plains. So here we can see, let's say Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, Delhi, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, in the east Meghalaya, Assam. So all these are coming under the North Indian plains. So this division lies between the Himalayan mountains in the north and the peninsular in the south. Now in the north what is located? Himalayas are there. In the south what is there? Peninsular is there. So between that what is located? North Indian plains. Now similarly it is extending from the Rajasthan and Punjab in the west to Assam in the east, and it is mostly a flat low lying area. So it is not situated at a very height. So it is mostly in the flat low lying. The North Indian plains are divided into two parts. The part lying to the east of the Aravallis is the basin of the river Ganga and is therefore known as Ganga Plains, and it slopes eastward. Now here students you can see in the map, that is the part that is lying to the east of the Aravallis is the basin of the river Ganga, and because of that region is called as the Ganga Plains. And here the slope we can see that the Ganga basin, it is sloping towards the eastward side. Now most of the West Bengal state of India and Bangladesh together constitute the delta of Ganga Brahmaputra system. It is known as Sundarban. It is considered to be the world's largest delta. Now here students you can see the picture, the image of the Sundarban delta. Now student, what is delta? Now delta means what? Now when students, for example, we can take the river Ganga. Now river Ganga, it is the biggest river. Now in that many small rivers they are meeting. So they are called as the tributary. Now these rivers, when they are meeting the river Ganga, so the mouth, near the mouth where they are going to meet, so there the triangular shape is going to be formed. So that is called as a delta. So here about the Sundarban, it is called as Sundarban. It is the considered as the world's largest delta. The western part of the North Indian plains is occupied by desert. So in the North Indian plains, western part of the North Indian plains is occupied by desert. It is also known as the Thar desert or Marusthali. Now most of the Rajasthan is occupied by these deserts. So mostly what is told that Rajasthan, it is covered by the desert. To the north of the desert lies the plains of Punjab, and this region is spread to the west of the Aravallis and Delhi ranges. So to the north of the desert, which plains we can find? The plain of Punjab, and the region, it is told that this region, it is spreading towards the west of the Aravallis and the Delhi ranges. These plains have been formed as a result of the depositional work by river Satluj and its tributaries. So here students, the Punjab plains, so it is told that they have been formed because of what? Because of the depositional work that is done by the river Satluj and its tributaries. Depositional work means, see, when river Satluj, it is going to flow, it is flowing and its tributaries are flowing. So along with the water they are bringing the sediments, sands and all that are also carried away, and afterwards when the speed of the river becomes slow, so that materials will be deposited there. So these Punjab plains have been formed because of that only. The slope of the plain is towards the west, and because the soil here is very fertile, agriculture is largely practiced in these regions. So as the soil is fertile in these regions, so what is practiced? Agriculture is practiced. Now next is the peninsula. Now the area lying to the south of the North Indian plains and tapering towards the Indian Ocean is called Indian Peninsula. Now students, already I told you peninsula. Peninsula means that is the country that is surrounded by land by by water by three sides. Now about India, On three sides we are having, India is surrounded by water. One side we are having the Arabian Sea, one side we are having the Bay of Bengal, another is the Indian Ocean. So it consists of many plateau and hill ranges. The Aravallis in the north are the oldest fold mountain here. So here in the peninsula, which is the in the north, which is the oldest fold mountain, the Aravallis, and it includes a series of plateaus bordering the plains. So here it is told that it is having a number of plateaus we can find here border plains. So which that is the Vindhyas and Satpura ranges in the central part, and the hilly regions of the western and the eastern Ghats. So here we can find series numbers of plateaus bordering the plains, Vindhyas and Satpura ranges in the central part, and the hilly regions of the western and the eastern Ghats. Next we are going to study about the coastal plains. Now India is blessed with a long coastline extending for approximately 7,500 kilometers. So here in the fill-ups and all you may get the question that how much is the coastline of India. So how much it is? 7,500 kilometers. Now it lies to the western and eastern part of the peninsula. Here in the image you can see. Its western and eastern coastlines show remarkable dissimilarities. So here what is mentioned that there is no similarities between the western and the eastern coastlines. So dissimilarities is seen between the western and the eastern coastlines. So India here the western coast borders the Arabian Sea. So western coast it is bordering what? The Arabian Sea. On the west we can find the Arabian Sea. No? So the western coast is bordering the Arabian Sea. It is by and large a rocky coast. So what type of coast it is? Rocky coast. At places, spurs taking off from the western Ghats have extended right up to the coast, and the branches of this rocky coast, it has spread from the western Ghats and they are coming up to the coast. Its width is also less, and the width of the western coast is also less as compared to the eastern coast. Rivers originating from the western Ghats are short and swift. So whichever the rivers they are originating from the western Ghats, students, so they are short and swift, fast flowing rivers, and hence they form estuaries and not deltas. So they are forming estuaries. Estuaries means creeks, but they are not forming the deltas. The eastern coast borders the Bay of Bengal. It has formed as a result of the depositional work of the river. So eastern coast it is bordering the Bay of Bengal. It has formed as a result of depositional, that is the deposition work that is done by the work of the rivers. So in the east we can find rivers Krishna, Ganga, Godavari, that rivers. Many east flowing rivers using from the western and eastern Ghats meets the coast. So because of the gentle slope of the land, rivers flow at a lower velocity and deposit the sediments brought with them at the coast. So as the slope is gentle here, so as a result what happens, whichever the rivers they are flowing, so they are flowing at a very low velocity, low speed, and so whatever the sediments while flowing they are carrying, so they are depositing at the coast. As a result, deltas are found along this coast. So here on the eastern coast we can find deltas. So what is the difference? Western coast it is bordering the Arabian Sea, eastern coast it is bordering the Bay of. Next we are going to study about the island groups. Now India has many small and large islands along the coast of the mainland. Along the coast of the mainland means here the states that are included. So these are included in the coastal islands group. Besides, India has two large group of islands, one each in the Arabian Sea and in Bay of Bengal. So India has two large group of islands. So one island it is located where it is there in the Arabian Sea, and one is there in the Bay of Bengal. Now the islands in the Arabian Sea are known as Lakshadweep. So the island which is found in the which is located in the Arabian Sea, it is known as? It is known as Lakshadweep. Whereas the islands in the Bay of Bengal are called as Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and the island that is located in the Bay of Bengal, so what it is called as? It is called as the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So how many islands India is having? Two islands. So one is Lakshadweep and other is the Andaman and. Here you can see the image of Lakshadweep and Andaman and Nicobar Islands. On the left hand side you can see that is Lakshadweep, and on the right hand side you can see the image of Andaman and Nicobar Island. So this is the image of both the islands. Most of the islands in the Lakshadweep are atoll islands. So Yes, see, most of the islands in Lakshadweep, what it is told, it is atoll islands. Now, atoll islands, atoll is a, it is looking is a, like a circle. Islands, which you can see here, see, you can see like a chain, and it is looking like a ring shape. It is a ring shape, and the center part of this island is open. And they are small in extent and not very high. And moreover, these atoll islands, so they are small in extent. Their extent is very small, and they are not very high also. So their height is not also more. Next, students, we are going to study about Brazil. Now, about till now, students, we have studied about India. In India, we have studied about the physiography of India. So about Himalayas we have studied, North Indian plains we have studied, Peninsular region we have studied, coastal plains and the island groups. Now we will be studying about the physiography of Brazil. Now a large part of Brazil is occupied by highlands, plateaus and small mountains. So what is told, Brazil, it is occupied by highlands. See, in the north you can see the Guiana Islands in the map, and along with in the south we can see the Brazilian highlands, and plateaus it is occupied, and small mountains are there. There are no very high and long extending mountains in the country. And moreover, here what is told that, so here the mountains which are there, they are not very much high. So here in the index you can see the height is given here in the 1000. So, and moreover the peaks that are found here, so only one of the highest peak of Brazil, that is Pico de Neblina, it is given 3114 meter height is there. So the height is not more than, mountains they are not very much high. Except the northern part Amazon basin, and in the southwest along the upper parts of Paraguay basin, there are no wide plains in the country. And more regarding the plain region also, what is told in the northern, then in the northern part what is there, Amazon basin is there, and the southwest, that is upper parts of Paraguay basin, you can see the map. Leaving that area, there are no wide plains in the country. But in India, if you are going to do, so in India we have studied about the North Indian plains. It is extending from the Rajasthan, and it is covering many states from Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana, Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, and afterwards it is going toward the east, that is up to Assam. Even the coastal plains are restricted in their expanse, and what is told, the coastal plains which are there, so that is also their areas which is also restricted. Here you can see in the map, North Atlantic Ocean and South Atlantic Ocean, their width is not very much more. Now the physiographic division in Brazil are as follows. So we will studying about the, here the highlands, the great escarpment, the coastal regions, the plain regions and the islands group. So students, we will be studying about in detail the physiographic divisions of the Brazil. One by one we are going to study it. The regions to the east and south of the Brazilian highlands have an altitude of more than 1000 meter. So whichever the regions are towards the east and south of the Brazilian highlands, so what is the altitude? Altitude means height, so it is of more than 1000 meter. But in other parts the altitude is between 500 to 1000 meter. But in other parts, how much is the height? Between 500 to 1000 meter. The highlands gradually slopes towards the north, and slopes are not very steep. Now these highlands afterwards, they are sloping towards which direction? North direction. And the slopes that are there, no, they are not very much steep. Steep means not there, the slopes are not very straight. The tributaries of the Amazon flowing through this region makes rapids and waterfalls. And towards the north, the slopes are steep but not abrupt. Abrupt means they are not, break is not there in between. And a number of rivers take off from the terminal portion of the highlands and flow northwards to meet the Atlantic Ocean. So from there, from these slopes, a number of rivers take off from the highlands. So number of rivers they are taking up, they are starting up from the terminal portion. Terminal portion means where the highland it is ending. So from there, the many rivers they are originating, and from there when they are originating, they are flowing, and after flowing northwards, they are going to meet the Atlantic Ocean. Now some major rivers like Uruguay, Paraguay, Parana originate from the southern slopes of the highlands and enter Argentina. So some major rivers are there, that is Uruguay is there, Paraguay is there, and Parana. They are originating from the southern slope of the highlands, and from there the rivers they are flowing and they are meeting the from there they are flowing and they are entering Argentina. Now it slopes towards the east is steep and it appears in the form of escarpment. So afterwards they are sloping towards the steep, and next we are going to study about the physical, that is the Great Escarpment. Now though it occupies a very small area, the nature of its slope and the effect it has on the climate makes it separate physiographic area. Now see in the map you can see the Great Escarpment region, it is shown. Now though it is told that it is covering a very small area, but because of the nature of its slope and the effect that it is having on the climate, so as a result it makes a separate physiographic region. The eastern side of the highlands is demarcated. Demarcated means divided because of the escarpment. Now in this region the altitude of the escarpment is 790 meter. What is the altitude height here of the escarpment? That is 790 meter. In some regions the height decreases gradually, but later on what happens afterwards, in some of the regions the height it is going on decreasing. The escarpment is very steep, particularly from Sao Paulo to Port Alegre. So here in the map you can see the escarpment that is very much straight, particularly from Sao Paulo region to Port Alegre. The escarpment acts as a barrier to the southeast trade winds, giving rise to the rain shadow area in the northern eastern part of the highlands. So here the see, we all know that is here the Brazil, it is getting the rainfall from the southeast trade winds, and this so when this southeast they are blowing, so the escarpment they are acting as a barrier. So in that area, that is near where in that area it is getting the rainfall, but afterwards when these southeast trade winds, when they are going, it is reaching in the northern eastern part of the highlands, there the amount of rainfall it is going to become less, and as a result the region to the north of this area is called as the Drought Quadrilateral region. Next we are going to study about the coast, Brazilian coast. The Brazil has a long coastline of about 7,400 kilometers. So what is the coastline of Brazil? 7,400 kilometers. Now one may divide that into two parts, namely a northern coast and the eastern coast. It can be divided into two parts, northern coast and eastern coast. The northern coast, it is extending from the Amapá province in the north to Rio de Grande do Norte in the east. Here in the map you can see this can be called as the North Atlantic Ocean. So totally that area, that is from the northern coast extending from Amapá province to the region that is Rio de Grande do Norte in the east, that region it is called as the North Atlantic coast. From there the eastern coast extends towards the south, and from there the eastern coast it is extending up, coming up towards the south. The northern coast is characterized by the mouths of many rivers, including the Amazon River. So here the northern coast, it is featured by the mouths of many rivers here, including Amazon. Therefore this region is a low-lying region. So that region it is also called as a low-lying region. On this coast lie the Marajo Islands. So Marajo and Marcos Bays. Marajo is a large coastal island located between the mouths of river Amazon and river that is Tocantins. So here which islands we can find here? Marajo Islands here we can find, and these Marajo Islands, it is located between the mouth of the river that is river Amazon and river Tocantins. So it is located between the mouths of the river that is river Amazon and river Tocantins. The eastern coast receives large number of small rivers. Here we can find the only major river which meets the Atlantic Ocean is São Francisco. So the only river in Brazil that is meeting the Atlantic Ocean, which river it is? São Francisco. The Brazilian coast is characterized by a large number of beaches and sand dune complexes. So here we can find number of beaches you can find and sand dunes we can find. The Brazilian coast is protected in some areas by coral reefs and atoll islands. So here Brazilian coast, how it is protected? They are protected by coral reefs. Coral reefs means the underwater ecosystem, that is, and atoll islands. Atoll islands I have told you already. It is circular in shape, and in the central part of that is open. So that is called as so Brazilian coast is protected in some areas by coral reefs and atoll island. Next we are going to study about the plains. The plains in Brazil are confined into two areas, namely the Amazon basin in the north and the Paraguay-Paraná source region in the southwest. Now already we have studied the plains region that is located. Amazon basin is in the north and Paraguay-Paraná basin is in the southwest. Now Amazon plains lying between the two highlands form the largest plain land of the Brazil. So in Brazil where we can find, that is the Amazon plains, that plain is lying between the two highlands form the largest plain of the Brazil. Amazon plains lying in the north up part of the Brazil generally slope eastward. So these Amazon plains which are lying in the northern part which are there, so to which direction they are sloping? They are sloping towards the eastward direction. The Amazon basin is quite width in the west, about 1300 kilometer. So the width of the Amazon basin in the western side, how much it is? 1300 kilometer. And as it is going towards the eastward, so it becomes narrow. Its width is minimum where the Guiana highlands and the Brazilian highlands come closer. That is how much here? 240 kilometer. So its width, it is minimum, it कम हो जाता है where the Guiana highlands and the Brazilian highlands they are coming closer. That is how much it is there? 240 kilometer. As the river approaches the Atlantic Ocean, the width of the plain increases, and as the Amazon river basin. So here as the river approaches the Atlantic Ocean, the width of the plain increases. उसका width क्या होता है? बढ़ जाता है. These are mostly forested areas and largely inaccessible due to frequent flooding and dense undergrowth. So mostly this area it is covered by forest and it is largely inaccessible, means easily not approachable, because every time what is there, frequent, any time floods are there, and dense undergrowth means covered by trees, shrubs and all. Most of the Amazon plains are covered by tropical rainforest. So here mostly Amazon plains they are covered by the tropical rainforest. The other plains in Brazil are located to the southern western part of the highlands. So other plains which are there in Brazil, so they are located toward the southern western part of the highlands. They form the source region of the Paraguay and Paraná rivers. So they are forming the source of which rivers? Paraguay and Paraná rivers. The source region of Paraguay slopes towards the south, while the source region of the Paraná slopes towards the southwest. So जो उसका source region है of Paraguay का, it is sloping toward the south side, and the source region of the Paraná, it is sloping toward the southwest. In the map you can see. Now Pantanal, it is the one of the largest wetlands in the world. It lies towards the southern western part of the highland area. So which is the largest wetland in the world? You may get a question in the exam. That is Pantanal. It is a region of swamp and marshes in the northwestern Mato Grosso, that is Mato Grosso do Sul in Brazil, and it is extending up into Argentina too. So it is a region of swampy and marshes. Swampy मतलब दल जैसा कीचड़ जैसा होता है ना, that. And in the northern western Mato Grosso do Sul in Brazil, and from there it is extending up to Argentina. Now next, islands. Besides the mainland, some islands are also included in Brazil, means leaving the states. Some islands are also included in Brazil. Now these islands, they can be classified into two, coastal islands and marine islands. So उसको two section में classify किया है. One is coastal islands, other is marine islands. Most of the coastal islands have formed due to the deposition. So coastal islands, how they have been formed? Because of the deposition work that is done by the rivers. Marine islands were a part of the mainland. So it is what it is told. Marine islands, they were the part of the mainland. Mainland means main part of the Brazil country. And they are more than 300 kilometers away from the mainland in the Atlantic Ocean. So they were the part of the mainland, main part of the country. And they are how much kilometer away? 300 kilometers away from the mainland in the Atlantic Ocean. Now these islands are mostly rocky and they are the top of the submerged mountains. So these islands, so mostly which type of island? They are rocky type, and they are at the top of the submerged mountains. The islands near the coast of the South Atlantic Ocean are coral islands and they are called as atolls. So these islands, they are near the South Atlantic Oceans, and they are coral islands, and they are also called as the atoll. They are also called as atolls. Next students, we are going to study about the drainage of Brazil. Now students, till now we have studied about the physiography of India and Brazil. In that, different physiographic conditions of both India and Brazil we have studied. Now we are going to study about the drainage of Brazil and India. Now drainage means here means we are going to study about the major rivers which are there in Brazil and India. So first today now we are going to study about. Now, here as far as the drainage in Brazil is cover basins. So first one is Amazon basins. Second one is Paraguay-Paraná system in the southwest. And third one is that is São Francisco in the eastern part of the highland and other rivers of the coast. So we are going to study about the Amazon basin. Now Amazon collects its headwaters from the eastern slope of the Andes mountains in Peru. So Amazon collects collects its headwater, that is the main source of water, from where it is collecting from the eastern slopes of the Andes mountains in Peru. Now Amazon river receives his huge discharge. This is about 2 lakh cubic meter. So here Amazon river receives huge discharge. Huge discharge means discharge here it means a volumetric flow of water that is transported. So as a result, Amazon washes off the load supplied to it from the catchment area. So because of that what happened, Amazon river it is washing off the load. Load यहाँ पे जो sediments वगैरह रहता है, water जो flow होता है उसके साथ जो sediments होता है वो supplied to it from the catchment area. Catchment means here the source of the place from where the river rises. Consequently, sediments are not deposited even at the माउथ. तो उसकी वजह से क्या होता है, जो सेडिमेंट्स को कैरी करता है वो दैट इज नॉट डिपोजिटेड इवन एट द माउथ, वेयर द रिवर एट द माउथ मीन्स वेयर द रिवर इट इज मीटिंग द सी. A dense network of distributaries, which is a characteristic feature of river mouth areas, is by and large absent in the mouth region of the Amazon. So here, a dense network of distributary features. So that is one of the important feature of the river mouth areas. So that feature is absent in the mouth region of the Amazon. Now tributaries means for example here we can take Ganga. Ganga is a major river. So Yamuna is a tributary of river Ganga. So in that Yamuna, when it is meeting Ganga, so Yamuna is adding the water in the river Ganga. But distributary means where water is carried away by the other rivers. So instead we find a series of islands developed along the mouth of the Amazon beyond the coastline in the Atlantic Ocean. Instead of that, what we can find? We can find a series of islands that are developed at the mouth of the Amazons. Now it will be interesting to know that at the mouth the width of the Amazon channel is 150 kilometer. So at the mouth what is the width of the Amazon channel? It is 150. So here next we are going to study about Paraguay-Paraná system. Now these two rivers are located in the southern western part of the Brazil. So here Paraguay-Paraná rivers, where they are located in the southern western part of Brazil. See here in the map you can see. Now both the rivers form the catchment of the river Plata in Argentina. So here you can see Argentina in the map. So there both the rivers from where they are collecting the main source of water from the river Plata in Argentina. Now these two rivers and river Uruguay in extreme south of the highlands collect their headwaters from the southern portion of the highlands. Now these two rivers means here Paraguay-Paraná along with the river Uruguay in extreme means next to that, they are collecting their headwaters from the southern portion. Next we are also going to study of the São Francisco river. Now till now we are studying about Amazon river with Paraguay-Paraná system. Now it is the third important river of Brazil. The entire basin of this river is within Brazil. So entire river basin of this São Francisco basin is within the Brazil only. It occupies the eastern portion of the highlands. So it is covering which portion? Eastern portion of the Brazilian highlands. The river flows towards the north for a distance of for about 1000 kilometers. See in the map you can see the blue line. That is the São Francisco river. So towards the north the river is flowing for a distance of 1000 kilometers over the plateau, and afterwards the river it is taking a move towards the eastward, and afterwards it is going to empty its water into Atlantic ocean. The blue shaded portion you can see, that is the Atlantic Ocean. Now the river is navigable for a distance of about 250 kilometers. It is used for navigation. Next we are going to study about coastal rivers. Now Brazil has a number of short coastal rivers. So number of short coastal rivers are there in Brazil. The coastal rivers begin densely populated. These rivers attain significance, and mostly what is in here, the coastal rivers, the coastal area which are there, so they are densely populated. River Paranaíba and river Itapecurú flowing northwards meets the Atlantic Ocean. So in the map you can see that is river Paranaíba and river Itapecurú, that is above the San Francisco river which is there. So they are flowing northwards, and afterwards they are meeting the North Atlantic Ocean. The rivers that enter South Atlantic Ocean collect their headwaters along the escarpment. So the rivers that are entering the South Atlantic Ocean, so that rivers from where they are collecting their waters, they are collecting the waters along the from the Great Escarpment. Now river Piragusa enters the Atlantic Ocean near. Next we are going to study about the drainage of India. Now drainage of India, rivers in India are largely classified according to their source region into Himalayan and peninsular regions. So here in India, rivers are classified on the source of the region. So that two sources are there. One is the Himalayan rivers, another is the peninsular rivers. Now Himalayan region, Himalayan drainage, most of the major rivers in the Himalayas originate from the various glaciers. So mostly the rivers which are there in the Himalayas, they are originating from the glaciers. Now glaciers means ice sheets. In summers when glaciers melt, the discharge of the water increases. So in the summer season, what time the glaciers they are melting, at that time the flow of the water it is going to increase. They flood during monsoon too, and at the time of the monsoon what happens, rainfall is there, at that time they are flooding. They are perennial rivers, they are having water throughout the. So here the drainage covers two major river systems such as Sindhu river system and Ganga river system. So here the river system, it is covering two major river system, that is Sindhu river system and Ganga river system. Sindhu and its tributaries, that is which are the tributaries of Sindhu, Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi and Satluj. So they drain the western Himalayas. The Sindhu river and its tributaries, they are flowing from the state of Jammu and Kashmir, and all these rivers they flow almost parallel to each other. See here students, in the map you can see. So in the index numbers are also mentioned, according to that you can come to know. A major tributary of the river Sindhu originates near Mansarovar and flows westwards. So one of the major tributary of river Sindhu, so it is originating near Mansarovar and it is flowing towards westwards. Now Punjab plains have formed from the depositional work of these rivers and these tributaries. So Punjab plains, it has been formed because of what? Because of the depositional work that is done by these rivers, that is Sindhu rivers and these tributaries. Sindhu flows through Pakistan and then meets the Arabian Sea. So Sindhu rivers, so it is flowing through Pakistan. It flows through Pakistan and afterwards Sindhu rivers, it is coming and meeting the Arabian Sea. From time to time Ganga meets its tributaries, hence its discharge increases. From time to time Ganga meets its tributaries, so because of that the discharge of the water it is increasing. Ganga receives Brahmaputra as its tributary in its lower reaches and in Bangladesh. So Ganga receives Brahmaputra also as its tributaries, and later in its lower reaches in Bangladesh. The huge volume of water and huge deposition has led to the formation of a large delta. Because of the huge volume of water and huge deposition work that is done by the rivers, so here what is formed, a large delta has been. Now students, about Brazil we have studied, so about Amazon river basin. So Amazon river basin, so there deltas are not formed, but here delta in the Ganga river basin, what is formed, a large delta is formed. Besides these Himalayan rivers, Ganga receives a number of tributaries from the peninsular rivers like Chambal, Ken, Betwa, Son, Damodar, etc. We are going to study about the peninsular rivers. The peninsular river systems can be further divided into east flowing rivers, that is meeting the Bay of Bengal, and the west flowing rivers meeting the Arabian Sea. So east flowing rivers, they are divided into can be further divided into east flowing rivers. East flowing rivers, see in the map you can see east flowing rivers, that is towards the Bay of Bengal, and the west flowing rivers that are meeting the Arabian Sea. East flowing rivers, here we can say Mahanadi, Krishna, the east flowing rivers, so they are meeting the Bay of Bengal, and Narmada, Tapi, they are west flowing rivers, they are meeting the Arabian Sea. The Western Ghats form a major water divide in the peninsula. So what is forming as a major water divide here? Western Ghats. The peninsular rivers begin, rain-fed rivers seldom face the problem of floods. They are seasonal in nature. So mostly the peninsular rivers, they are rain-fed rivers. They are getting their water from the rainfall, and so rarely they are facing the problem of flood. So the west flowing rivers occupying the areas between the Western Ghats and the Arabian coastlines are short in length but swift. They are short in, means here the rivers, they are short in length but swift. This condition of short and swift river system exists in the states of Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra and southern Gujarat. So further northward one comes across the river system flowing into the Gulf of Khambat. So here see in the map you can see the rivers there that are mentioned. So these rivers were there you can find in the states of Kerala, Karnataka, Maharashtra and southern Gujarat. And afterwards from northwards one comes across the river system. They start flowing towards the Gulf of Khambat, that is towards Gujarat they start flowing. Now, so these river systems are Tapi, Narmada, Mahi and Sabarmati. You can see here Tapi and Narmada flow slowly through rift valleys. So slowly Tapi and Narmada, they are flowing slowly through the rift valleys. Now here through this yellow shape that is given, that is shown. Mahi river flows towards the northeast to southwest direction, whereas the river Sabarmati collecting its headwater from the southern slope of the Aravalli ranges floats in somewhat north-south directions. So here Mahi river, it is flowing towards the northeast to southwest direction, whereas river Sabarmati अपना headwater कहाँ से collect करते हैं? From the southern slopes of the Aravalli ranges, and afterwards it is flowing in somewhat north-south direction. So here see rivers are shown: Luni river, Sabarmati, Mahi, Narmada, Tapi, Godavari, Krishna. All these rivers are shown. So these are all the west flowing rivers. Which rivers they are? They are the west flowing rivers. Another noteworthy river forming the catchment of Arabian Sea is river Luni. Which river it is? That is the river Luni. Now it originates along the western slopes of the Aravalli range and flows in somewhat northwest to southeast direction and flows into the Gulf of Kutch. So this river Luni, it is originating along the western slopes of the Aravallis. कहाँ से originate होता है? Western slopes of Aravalli ranges. It is flowing this river, it is flowing in somewhat northwest to southeast direction, and afterwards it flows into the Gulf of Kutch. कहाँ पे flow के जाता है? Gulf of Kutch. Gulf का meaning होता है खाड़ी. Next we are going to study about rivers meeting the Bay of Bengal. Now most of the area of the peninsula is drained by the rivers flowing towards the Bay of Bengal. So most of the area, means most of the rivers of the peninsula, they are flowing towards the Bay of Bengal. The important river systems of this group are Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna, Kaveri. So here which are the important rivers here? Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. Mahanadi basins occupies the northern eastern part of the peninsula. So it is covering which part? The northern eastern part of the peninsula. Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri originate in the eastern slopes of the western Ghats. Now river Godavari is the second largest river system of India in terms of the catchment area, in terms of the area size. Catchment means area size. So here river Godavari is the second largest river system in India. Which is the first largest river? That is Ganga. To the south of the Godavari is located the basin of river Krishna. Its major tributaries are Bhima and Tungabhadra. To the south of the Godavari, what is located? The basin of river Krishna. You can see in the map. And the major tributaries are Bhima and Tungabhadra. River Kaveri basin flows through the states of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. It is one of the major rivers of the peninsula. It is a river that has been harassed for irrigation since long time. So here river Kaveri basin, it is flowing through the states of Karnataka and Tamil Nadu, and it is one of the major rivers of the peninsula. So students, hope you have understood this chapter. Now here students, assignment for you from this chapter will be, first give reasons. In that first one is, there are no west flowing rivers in Brazil. Second one is, there are fewer natural ports on the eastern coast of India. And in brief questions, first will be differentiate between the physiography of Brazil and India. Differentiate between the physiography of Brazil and India. Second will be explain the characteristics of the North Indian plains. And third will be which are the major water divides of the India, giving examples. So which are the major water divides of India, giving examples. Thank you.